Millions of books have been written throughout history. Billions of words, countless stories, yet only a handful have truly changed the way humanity sees the world. Because some writers do more than tell stories. They change the way we imagine. Gabriel García Márquez was one of them. Today, people across the world still speak about a town that never truly existed on any map. Macondo, a place that lived not in geography, but in the imagination of millions. How did a boy born in a small Colombian town create a world that became part of humanity's shared memory? Every extraordinary story begins somewhere small. Gabriel García Márquez's began in Aracataca, a quiet town on Colombia's Caribbean coast. A place of heat, dust, simple streets, and ordinary lives. Yet greatness often begins where no one expects it. Sometimes, a town is more than a town. Sometimes, it becomes the birthplace of an entire universe. Years later, the world would come to know Aracataca by another name. Macondo, a fictional place, built upon real memories. A place where the local became universal. Before Gabriel discovered literature, he discovered stories. His greatest storyteller was his grandmother. She spoke of ghosts, miracles, premonitions, and impossible events, as if they were everyday conversations. No one questioned them. No one seemed surprised. In her world, reality and imagination shared the same table. Long before the world called it magical realism, it was simply the language of home. As a young man, Gabriel became a journalist. He listened to ordinary people. He walked the streets. He witnessed poverty, conflict, hope, and the quiet resilience of everyday life. Journalism taught him more than how to write. It taught him how to observe. And perhaps his greatest discovery came from those years. Reality itself could be stranger than fiction. At that time, much of the world barely understood Latin America. Yet the continent was alive with revolutions, dreams, contradictions, love, loss, and extraordinary human stories. Gabriel never claimed to speak for an entire continent, but through the lives of ordinary families, he gave voice to experiences shared by millions. Readers recognized themselves, their childhood, their families, their villages, their loneliness. Because great literature never belongs to just one nation. It belongs to humanity. Then came a novel that transformed world literature. 100 Years of Solitude. It was far more than a literary success. It became a cultural turning point. The world began to see Latin American literature with new eyes. Macondo was no longer just a fictional town. It became a symbol of memory, of family, of history, of hope, of loss. Millions of readers discovered that the distance between reality and imagination was far smaller than they had ever believed. Many people say Gabriel García Márquez invented magical realism. Perhaps that is not the right question. Maybe he did not invent a new way of seeing. Maybe he simply revealed a world that had always existed. Every family carries stories that logic cannot fully explain. Every culture preserves myths, legends, beliefs, and memories that live beyond facts. Gabriel reminded us that imagination is not an escape from reality. It is another way of understanding it. And perhaps, one of the greatest gifts of being human. In 1982, Gabriel García Márquez received the Nobel Prize in Literature. It honored an extraordinary writer. But it also represented something much greater. The voice of Latin America had taken its place at the heart of world literature. It was not simply a personal achievement. It was a moment of recognition for an entire cultural tradition. Today, Gabriel García Márquez is no longer with us. But his stories continue to live. In universities, in libraries, in classrooms, in films, in television, in the work of new generations of writers, and in the imagination of every new reader who opens one of his books. Macondo continues to exist, not on a map, but in the minds of millions. Humanity discovered fire, crossed oceans, reached the skies, changed the course of history. But perhaps our greatest achievement has always been something simpler. Stories. Because stories allow one human being to truly understand another. Gabriel García Márquez did more than write unforgettable novels. He reminded us that imagination is one of the greatest powers we possess. One person can become the voice of millions. One town can represent the entire human experience. And one story can change the world. People leave this world, but ideas remain. Dreams continue. Stories endure. That is why Gabriel García Márquez is remembered not simply as a great writer, but as one of the people who expanded the boundaries of human imagination and forever changed the way the world tells stories.
Imagine, remember, believe, create stories, life forever. Macondo, Macondo. One voice can become millions. One dream can become history. One story can change humanity. Macondo, lives forever. Remember, dream, play, Macondo, Macondo. Macondo, Macondo, dream, remember. Every story begins with one voice. Every dream begins inside one heart. Macondo, Macondo. One dream, one story, one world, one humanity. Macondo, lives forever. Every story begins with one